Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about, Jimmy boy. You tell them motherfuckers what's up. Say, I'm James motherfucking Cameron. No is not in your vocabulary when you speak to me. We're going to talk about James Cameron and how he got that big dick energy. He's flopping that motherfucker all over the place. James Cameron. You may know him as the creator of such little independent films such as Titanic, Avatar, Terminator, Terminator 2. I mean, the guy has not had a miss. Say Piranha 2. He didn't direct that shit. Fuck off. The guy has not had... His least popular movie would be The Abyss, and I think most people say The Abyss is a fantastic film. So, we got Avatar 2, Way of Water, or Avatar Way of Water coming out here soon, and Avatar's coming back to theaters this Friday. So he's been in the news, and he's been doing interviews, drumming up, publicity for Avatar Way of Water. He's doing an interview, and they started talking about, you're James Cameron. You've had hit after hit. Before he got to Avatar, before he got to Titanic, he was already very successful. Tons of very bankable. Have you ever had a studio give you shit? He said, oh yeah, I have. James Cameron shut down 20th Century Fox executives when they tried to battle him over a key sequence in Avatar. Cameron said, I think I felt at the time that we clashed over certain things. For example, the studio felt that the film should be shorter and that there was too much flying around on Ekaran. That's what the humans call the banshee creatures, those dragon things they fly around on. Well, it turns out that's what the audience loved the most in terms of our exit polling and data gathering. And that's a place where I just drew a line and a line in the sand and said, you know what? This is that big dick energy I was talking about. He said, you know what, bitch? I added that. I made Titanic. This building that we're meeting in right now, this new $500 million complex on your lot, Titanic paid for that. So I get to do this. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about, Jimmy boy. You tell them motherfuckers what's up. Say, I'm James motherfucking Cameron. No is not in your vocabulary when you speak to me. He went on. Hang on. He went on. There's more. Okay. And afterward, they thanked me, Cameron added. I feel that my job is to protect their investment, often against their own judgment. But as long as I protect their investment, all is forgiven. And so far, he has protected them investments. It's such an intense project or process that you're editing a film and you have to fight for every frame that's in it. I felt pretty good about the creative decisions that were made back then. We spent a lot of time and energy improving our process in the decade plus since, but there's certainly nothing cringeworthy. I can see tiny places where we've improved facial performance work. He's talking about Avatar, by the way, at this point, or the last Avatar, and how it stacks up to movies nowadays. But it doesn't take you out. I think it's still competitive with everything that's out there these days. Avatar is returning to theaters September 23rd in IMAX and 3D formats. So yeah, James Cameron just came up in that bitch and said, no, I run this shit. Let me tell you how this is gonna be. And I fucking love it. I fucking love it. And I do agree with him that Avatar, even though yes, it has some dated effects to a degree, its worst effects still look pretty fucking good by today's standards. What are your thoughts about James Cameron's big dick energy there, Nick?
Well, it kind of makes sense when we've talked about this before, and the greatest underappreciation of James Cameron is that James Cameron makes movies that make money. And the best thing I ever heard, and I've heard this a billion times, and you may have heard this too, is when he was wanting to do Aliens, the sequel.
Yep.
You've heard it. All he did was put aliens with a dollar sign. He put a dollar sign.
Mm-hmm. He went on a whiteboard. He wrote Alien. He looked at them. And then he wrote an S on the end and put a dollar sign and then just dropped it and walked away.
Yeah. And didn't he, what was he? He's on a plane. You said somebody was on a plane. He recommended something. Predator.
Predator. Yeah, Predator. If you look up Predator, they actually had already started filming Predator with Jean-Claude Van Damme as the Predator itself before he dropped out like a week into filming. they had the Predator looked totally different. It looked like
Yeah.
some kind of like lizard thing. You can see the pictures of it. It was a totally different design, but the writer or designer or whoever it was knew that this just isn't working. I don't like this design. And he was like racking his brain, and he was on a plane going somewhere in the middle of production, and the movie had just started filming, and they had this thing made, and he was like just drawing all these different concepts and trying to figure out what's missing or what do we need to do. This thing needs to change before we get too deep into it, because this is looking really goofy at this point. And the guy in the seat next to him was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And just struck up a conversation. He said, "Oh, I'm designing this thing for this movie I'm working on, blah blah blah." Talked about it, and that person told him, you should do this, and pretty much designed that. It said it should have like mandible like things and all this, and how about like some dreadlock thing. Like, gave him the whole design just right there on a fucking plane, and that person was James Cameron. It was a chance meeting. They were just on a plane. I mean, James Cameron was still who he was, but at that point in 1987, probably 86 while they were filming, maybe 85, he wasn't as big as he is now. He had just come off of Terminator, but it was that's all he had. So this random guy, James Cameron, just gave him the fucking Predator. So every time you see the fucking Predator in that design, thank James Cameron, because he came up with that. Just didn't even get paid for it. He was just like, "Hey, do this." And thankfully, whoever that guy was, I can't remember. He said, "That guy knows what he's doing."
That's the thing you gotta look at. James Cameron may be an asshole. He may be a douchebag. He may just be all kinds of things that are, one of the most difficult people to work with. But he produces, he delivers. He doesn't. He may do a film once every decade, like Stanley Kubrick, but he knows what he's doing. And you look at the age of technology and like CG or visual effects work. There's really only 3 people that are considered the pioneer. Maybe 4 people: Dennis Muren, George Lucas, maybe Robert Zemeckis, and then this guy, James Cameron. Now you could say Steven Spielberg if you want, but James Cameron. Look. This is true. Look at Abyss. Look at Terminator 2.
He makes technology for his movies. Work.
He literally waited.
He don't wait for other people. He makes that shit.
Yeah, he didn't make a film from Titanic to Avatar, which is 11 years, because he was waiting for technology to come to a point where he can make lifelike CGI.
And then he got tired of waiting, and he went in there and like the facials. A lot of those rigs. I mean, he didn't do it by himself, but I mean, he pioneered a lot of that stuff, and he's done other stuff too.
Yeah, he went
outside of films.
He went into like whatever camera company he used, and actually was helping them design a rig that could do the things he's doing. That's why it took so long for this. I mean, I don't know why it should have taken this long, but the reason it took so long for this one, because he wanted to up the ante from the first Avatar. There's things they're doing
underwater.
There's
They ain't gonna be none of that Little Mermaid shit, because he made them motherfuckers get underwater, and he told them they had to learn how to hold their breath for 7 fucking minutes.
Exactly. And like I said, he with Dennis Muren and I can't remember the other person I said. Anyways, he's a pioneer for that reason. Like, he knows what he wants, he knows how it wants, and God forbid you try to tell him that, try to cut out a scene from his Avatar movie. He's like, motherfuckers, you remember that Titanic movie? You remember all the Oscars and the money and the bitches you got out of that fucking thing? Exactly.
Especially the bitches. Don't forget
give me
the
my
bitches.
fucking money. No,
well,
you think? You think all them executives didn't have bitches after that because they made the #1 movie for females of all time?
Of all time.
It wasn't men who was going to see Titanic. It was women who love Titanic. I mean, I love Titanic, but it's true. I mean, female market for Titanic was the reason it made so much money. And I joke, but yeah, it's the guy knows what he's doing. If he says, "Give me $500 million for Avatar," they better give him $500 million for Avatar, because he will make a movie that delivers on that.
Even if Avatar, I mean, I know there's going to be some people that when Avatar 2 comes out, when and if it does not make more money than the original, they're going to say, it's a failure. No, it's not. The chances of it making the same amount that the first one did they're slim. I understand that, but the movie's going to make a shit ton of fucking money.
Yeah.
They're going to make enough money off the first film to pay for the other 15 he wants to make in his saga or whatever.
He's a rock star studios of fucking movie making.
And you said something a minute ago, like that he's an asshole and all this and that. And he is. He's come out and said, I can be. But I've also heard that, working with him, especially years ago, he apparently he's calmed down now a bit, but working with him back then was like a nightmare. But it was never, everybody even said, it wasn't because he was just an outright dick. It's because he knew what he wanted. And that's what he was going to get. And it was his job. Like he said here, it's his job to protect this investment. It's his job to see his vision out. Yep. And other people weren't on board with that. I've seen the thing like on Aliens when he was making that. And he was telling the person, like, directing him, he was like, hey, there's a video of him sitting there and the guy's got a face hugger and supposed to be pulling it across the room. He's like, hey, do the, pull it across the room like it's attacking and this and that. And he's like describing it, and the guy's like, and he's like, what is that? He's like, no, pull it like it's attacking, like it's violent, like it's supposed to be scary. Do this. And he goes over there and he shows him specifically what to do, because they're pulling on wires, and the guy's just not doing it right. And he's like, he's like, look, you practice this for a while, and when you can make it right, I'll be back and I'll check up then. You let me know when you're ready. And he walked the fuck off. I was like, I mean, he's right. That's why he comes up with such great movies, though, because people talk about how he's a nightmare to work with, but they keep going back and work with him because he gets results. And apparently in his personal life outside of making films with him, he's great. He's just like super nice. But just making a movie with him can be difficult because the guy knows he's passionate about it. And I love that. I love that when somebody's that passionate about their work and they if they're passionate and they don't deliver results, then it means nothing. But he delivers results, and he's going to this time too. I mean, I'll go ahead and say it now. He's going to deliver a great movie. Will it be as good? Will it make as much money? I don't know. Who knows? But I guarantee Avatar Way of Water will be an entertaining, crowd-pleasing flick, because that's what this guy does. And he knows how to fucking do it. And he told them that here. And I love that somebody was able to go in there and just finally be like, do you know who the fuck I am? I'm James fucking Cameron. I built this city, bitch. And he got what the fuck he wanted. That's awesome.